Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Goth. I mean, I'm Jesse.
What? I'm Goth now.
I'm Goth now.
He didn't say now, but that makes it so much funnier to me. Savannah's watching. What's up, Savannah? Making Valentine's.
Ooh, you know, Valentine's boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a commitment. So,
dude.
Okay.
Well, hey, it's right off the top. Let's do it. Shout out, hey Savannah, thanks for joining us. Savannah's a cat dancer, viewers and listeners. If you didn't know,
and
we're giving her a shout out. She might be a goth. She might be into crows.
Really into crows right now.
She doesn't do a lot of no. She does do cat dancing. A lot of crow dancing. That's not a thing.
No.
She's a cat dancer, like the crow. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Because she whatever, Patreon. God, I lost it.
Because she supports us on Patreon.
Thank you.
In the cat dancing tier, which gets you a shout out every episode.
Apparently.
And
apparently I just...
also at the cat dancing tier, you get to decide what we talk about if you choose to do so. But use your power wisely, please. Or if you don't want to do that, you can subscribe to a lower tier for just $1. You get to access to all kinds of extras and inappropriate things that we just can't air on our regular feed. So check it out and support us if you can.
That's right.
Some of that Grawlix content is ungrawlixed, I believe.
It is.
Yeah.
I just had to stop saying it was on Grawlix because Patreon put us on the no-no list at one point.
That's right. What? What's that mean?
Even on Grawlix, we're cleaner than most shows, so
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like Spotify would only kick us off because of our politics. not because of anything else.
If they want to pay us some money, we'll not talk about whatever they want.
There you go.
And if they want to pay us $100 million, we can talk about whatever we want because they don't want to lose $100 million.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah. Patreon, you get a smooth shout out like you just heard.
It's never awkward.
What a way to start.
Everything we do at the Grawlix podcast is not awkward.
Nope.
So tonight, we're all caught up on the Book of Boba.
Mm-hmm.
Boba.
Not a single book in this show.
I didn't see any books.
No books.
I don't think they have books anymore, do they?
I don't think so. It's all
galactic
credits or something.
Yeah, they have R2-D2 machines to show them everything in holograph form, or maybe they have weird laser scrolls or something. I don't know.
Is R2 the original Alexa?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I think Melanie might have mentioned this to me at one point. People can just understand him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like his beeps. Does everyone speak R2 beeps?
Mandalorian speaks like everything, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're also going to talk about Peacemaker because Jesse is all caught up on it. Melanie and I just watched the most recent episode. So we're gonna rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's never a bad time to rock.
But first, how are you two doing?
I'm good.
Living your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Just living my life. Period.
Yeah. Your best life?
No. Heck no.
Oh, well, great.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
Solid.
I'm not doing great. I got confirmed recently that my van is passed away.
Her van.
My van, yeah. So and it
I
was a
was
great van.
like confirmed by a church,
no, by a mechanic shop. It's my transmission is it ate itself, and so I can't afford to do that. So, yeah. Sad times. I need to get a bike. Not a motorcycle, but like an actual bike. A 10-speed. I need to learn how to ride a 10-speed.
Yeah, she was asking me about how you like shift gears. I'm like, it's easy. The bike does it.
Right,
You
right.
just keep pedaling.
Yeah. And you'll know if it's the wrong gear because it stinks.
Savannah says she's making her new roommate watch Fleabag and What We Do in the Shadows. Those are some Savannah shows for sure.
Yeah. What we do in the shadows is everybody's show.
That's true.
I think so.
Both good shows though. I enjoyed. What We Do in the Shadows is amazing. Fleabag was pretty good. Melanie made me watch it.
I like it. However, have my issues, and so I have to cover my face for half of it, but that's fine.
Because it's embarrassing. I mean, really, we haven't. I don't know where to go. I'm off this episode. Apparently, we haven't been watching or consuming anything other than like the 2 shows we're going to be talking about. We did start watching, and this is not even a show. It's fine. It's a fine show.
That's a Savannah influence, also.
Is it a Savannah? I can tell. And I'm not gonna Grawlix it because it's the title, but we've been watching Schitt's Creek.
Oh yeah.
So
can we just not? That's the thing. That's a thing that one guy says. I only know that because I used that GIF earlier. It's apparently perfect for GIFs. It's made for GIFs.
It's not a bad show. It's decent. The characters are dislikable or unlikable, but the main characters are at least enjoyable and entertaining. And I wish the show was just them interacting without the dumb plots or the dumb characters, because it also like it's
the mayor.
It's very similar to Arrested Development, but it doesn't have that continuous like meta or smart aspect to the plots and stuff. It's got a similar setup and kind of attitude with the characters, but then it's got way more of the like comedy through people being stupid or just stupid unrealistic scenarios. And I could do without that. It's a weird mix of that, but otherwise overall it's okay. We've been watching that too. That I'd mention it.
Only thing I've watched that we're not already going to talk about is I started Ozark season 4 finally. It's been up for it's probably been up for a week or 2 now at this point, but I started it and it's the same show. It's the same show. I mean, like they've got their formula down. I can see why this is probably the last season because at this point I'm just like, man, it's just the formula. Like it makes everything like it feels good. Feels good to be back in the show, but it also is like, oh, I recognize this from every other season.
Interesting.
Where it's just like, oh, there's no way they could possibly do this, but they're somehow gonna fumble through it or die trying. And
Right.
since this is the last season, they might die trying, but it'll start the same way, Something super extreme to get you hooked, some ridiculous obstacle to achieve, and nobody gets along.
I never picked it back up after between seasons 2 and 3, and not because I didn't want to, I just didn't. But I will at some point. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Makes me want to go back and finish
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Melanie never finished Breaking Bad.
I stopped at the Fly episode. I couldn't get past it, but one day I will.
You won't.
I will.
The problem is they made the main character too unlikable.
It's not even just the main character, it's every character. Every character in that show, at that point at least, was a horrible person. And I'm like, why would I care about what happens to any of them at this point?
Because it's the character arc. They weren't horrible people at the beginning.
Right, but maybe somebody who's horrible could turn a new leaf and become good, but they don't. It's just everybody is horrible. And that's not fun.
I don't know. If you stop in the middle of the arc, you don't know.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'll finish it sometime.
But she doesn't watch Ozark, so
well, I mean that makes sense because I was just gonna say like that's exactly the same show that Ozark is. Because
Right.
even if you think somebody is redeemable in this show, you come to find out that no, they're eventually just going to be garbage if they aren't already, and you just didn't know it yet.
Well, that makes me want to watch it even more. No,
It's Jason Bateman though. It's Jason Bateman's dry delivery being a horrible human being.
right. And actually, I did watch one episode or two, and then I was like, you know what, I should finish Breaking Bad before I watch this, because if I'm gonna watch a show like that anyway, it should be Breaking Bad because it deserves to be finished.
So I'll finish Ozark eventually too. But yeah, anyway. I get on my kicks of certain things. For a long time it was Moody Detectives, and I haven't had a really good, like, solely Moody Detective show for a while. And that'll kind of derail everything else. I don't even know what it is right now. Anything remotely kind of fantasy a little bit.
Right.
That's The Witcher and Shadow and Bone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's not as many of those, or not as many high quality ones.
Mm-hmm. It's because of me. I bring whimsy into your life.
Melanie's full of whimsy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Luther.
Right.
I remember Savannah recommending Luther. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't. And I like, is it Idris Elba? He's awesome. I'm pretty sure that's who that is. He's super cool. So I will sometime. Watch Luther, that is, in case that wasn't clear for audio people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Is jumping it?
I'm so high energy tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so high energy. You never know what Randy you're gonna get.
You really don't.
Life is like the Grawlix podcast.
Oh goodness. You're never going to live to 100.
All right, so which one do we want to jump into first? Which one are we more excited to talk about?
Do we do Peacemaker first, since it's not over?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Boba Fett's over, so
yeah.
When we're done talking about it, we're done.
Okay.
So most likely everybody knows, but if you don't, Peacemaker is a show on HBO Max.
It sure is.
And it's basically a spinoff of the Suicide Squad, following John Cena's character from that movie Peacemaker, and it's written by James Gunn. So I like it a lot. Yeah. Not just because it's written by James Gunn, but it's good because it's written by James Gunn.
Right.
Right.
And John Cena's actually really good in it.
He really is. Like, I actually wish there were more scenes of him just talking about how his eagle is dying.
Yeah.
Right. With weird, like, people having religious moments about it.
Yeah. Yes. Like, man, he just has these, like, bizarre monologues. These, like, speaking of Arrested Development, this character is clearly traumatized, and hence Arrested Development. He is a gigantic teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
His interactions with the world are horribly skewed, as if his development stopped at a certain moment that was revealed in this episode.
Right.
Speaking of Arrested Development and that show I was talking about earlier, but I'm conflicted about bleeping the title, so I'm not going to mention it again. That's a good thing. That's a good, I don't know. It comes to mind why I like certain shows where it's like, well, the comedy is character is stupid, and I dislike other shows where the comedy is character is stupid. Because it kind of depends. If it's the characters you're following dealing with stupid characters, that kind of feels like that annoys me more, as opposed to the characters you're following are kind of stupid, which is dangerous, but they exist in an otherwise realistic world, and so the humor is kind of like the world reacting at them, or them trying to deal with being that dumb in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know if any of that made sense.
It did, and it made me think of the Arrested Development thing where the mom was like, go get a banana, here's $10. It can't be more than that, right? That kind of a thing.
Yeah. Because Peacemaker himself, like, and Vigilante, who is great, but sometimes like just too stupid. Like it's so like
How
unrealistically
has this
dumb.
guy gone this long
Mhm.
without being totally caught?
Right.
Totally
Right.
caught, because he's such a loose cannon.
Yeah, he is.
But when they do stupid stuff, they always have the straight man there. They always have somebody to react to it and like, what are you talking about? You like, it's balanced.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. It works for me in Peacemaker.
And yet those people are in this strange world where the Weasel and Harley Quinn and all these, like, clearly there's so many supers, or meta. I guess they're metas in the DC universe. Like, there's just metas or people who wish they were metas just coming out of your ears.
Mhm.
Peacemaker, even in one of the episodes, brings Batmite into the canon. He's telling Vigilante about Batmite. He's like, Batmite, who's that? He's like, it's like interdimensional dwarf, the fanboys over Batman, blah blah blah. And it's like, I mean, I know DC's like live action continuity is just shaky anyway,
Right.
but at least in the world that the Suicide Squad side of things inhabit, Batmite is a real being in his canon, and that is
They just pull in whoever's
magical.
the most ridiculous, like James Gunn tore that Band-Aid off and they're just going with it.
Mhm.
Like Judo Master, which is like the angriest character, like just don't mess with that guy at all. Like, don't look at him sideways, nothing.
Mhm.
Okay, so it was episode 7 that just came out. So if you're listening to this in the future, that's the episode of Peacemaker we're talking about. Paul says DeVito for Batmite.
I mean, I would sign that petition.
Judo Master, that's his name? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Okay.
Yeah, Judo Master.
He's a very small person, right?
Yeah.
And like he's getting made fun of at one point by some randos walking by. But it's like, the outfit is really what makes him look goofy.
Mhm.
Right.
He's small, that's fine. But like the outfit, like intentional, like
He's always
It deliberately-
eating flaming Cheetos or something. Like,
He
always.
Yep.
Mhm.
Even when he just like trashes like those guys, he steals their Cheetos and just keeps eating them.
Mhm.
So what do you think, Jesse, of the series so far? Because last we talked about it, I think you'd only seen the intro sequence.
Right. Well, and even that, I was just like, holy wow. Everybody talked about this, and I still wasn't prepared for it. And I feel like I should have done a blind react video to that opening sequence.
I hate the dance.
It's
I hate it.
ridiculous. Well, I think you're supposed to. I'd be like, it's so bad, but it's like also so bad it's almost awesome, because like John Cena's a wrestler. He can do like crazy athletic feats, but the dude can barely walk. He sure can't dance. It was like, hey, what's your limited mobility allow you to do? Let's turn that into a choreograph opening piece. It'll be even more ridiculous if we have people that are clearly limber and they can't move either.
It's such a yeah, I know it's supposed to be bad, but it doesn't wrap around to being so good. I skip it every time. I'm like, no, I hate this.
I don't know. I'm 50-50. I usually watch like a fair amount of it and then I skip it anyways, because I'm just like, I just want to watch the show.
Right.
But then it cuts to the very end of it and it was just like, man, I should have watched that, because it ends with the eagle on his arm and this ridiculous like ensemble pose.
I wonder how many episodes we're going to get of it this season.
I think the next episode is either the last episode or the second to last episode.
Yeah, that makes sense. It feels like they're wrapping it up. I'm going to guess, yeah, I think the next one's probably the last one.
Right.
How do you feel about the bad guys?
Like one of my favorite things is just like James Gunn just he just doesn't care. He's just like, okay, we're going to call it Project Starfish. You know why? Starro. And then this one we're going to call it Project Butterfly. Why are we going to call it the Project Butterfly? And he even calls it out. He's like, Well, if memory serves correctly, you're not exactly creative with the naming of your projects here. And yeah, it's alien. There's these little alien guys that look like a cross between a butterfly and a praying mantis. And they climb into people's heads and take a hey, full spoilers. If like we didn't get into any of this before, but we're spoiling stuff tonight.
Now that
But
we
yeah.
all are caught up. Yep.
Yeah,
I don't,
okay. There's bugs in their heads and they control people.
Yeah. Okay, so you caught. I was listening to last week's episode. I think it was last week's episode, and I was trying to explain like the shocking violence in this one episode. It's the episode where Peacemaker has the X-ray helmet,
Right.
and that's what I was talking about. Like when they go in to like covertly scope this place out, and the lady goes to talk to this like old receptionist lady, and Peacemaker just takes her head off with a shotgun out of nowhere.
Right.
It's very jarring.
Yeah.
I thought, speaking of spoilers, this episode I was concerned we were going to lose more characters than we did. It seemed like they were going. I thought Vigilante was going to be on his way out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you throw a grenade, run.
Right.
Yeah.
Run away.
I mean, I know you are trying to make like a bad butt statement or something, just standing there, but that's not smart with explosives.
Right. The stuff with Peacemaker's dad was
so intense, man. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Especially the backstory stuff, like it's easy to just laugh at everything the Peacemaker does, but like James Gunn, man, he has a way of hooking you into with like actual, you think about like Star-Lord's mom and the way that things go on and the way that Rocket Raccoon, he's this ridiculous raccoon experiment creature and you feel bad for him kind of thing. And same thing with Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker is awful. He's a deplorable human being who says horrible things all the time, and you start to understand why, because you see like just what kind of crazy trauma this guy had, and he just stopped. He just quit, he just quit developing. So of course he's a giant moron.
Yeah.
Well, and it's almost, and it's kind of like he could be so much worse. Like you see like where the character, you see what he comes from. It could be so much worse.
Yeah.
But also, go ahead.
And you consider, I mean, his dad treated him like crap, but like he said just before, the big happening with him, he controlled him. He did. He controlled it. He controlled him, and he put him down, and he made him stunted and warped. And he was doing. I mean, he was a bad person because he spent so long trying to please him. To try to make up for stuff that wasn't even his fault, really.
Right. Yeah, Peacemaker should have gave up on that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
every time Peacemaker talks to himself, for the most part, it's just like pure gold too. Like it's just like he'll even be having a moment, and then he'll just train wreck that moment, into like, I probably shouldn't have left you in the garage with my dad for 4 years.
Yeah,
that whole speech, it's like,
so
dude, what are you doing?
Goes so awfully off the rails, and at one point I'm like, am I enjoying this? Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying this.
And that's not even like anyone's around to hear it. That's just him talking to himself. It's like, oh, okay. He really thinks like that sometimes.
And I love the bit with what's his name? The friend sidekick guy. At the vet hospital. Like everything to do with him there is kind of hilarious to me. And he's like, we have to kill him. Okay, well, don't tie him up with tape because that hurts when you take it off.
Oh yes, yeah.
David calls like
they'll hurt their skin. Like it's super specific too.
Yeah, he was just about to murder them, but if he's not going to murder them, be nice. So, yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's I enjoy the show a lot. I haven't heard. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping other people are talking about it and it's getting views.
I think people like it. I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's,
I'm hearing less divisive criticism about it than Star Wars. Surprise.
right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. It's, it's okay. Most of the characters are, they're fine. I'm on board with them.
I didn't expect to like this show. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I should have. Like, it's all there, but like, you're putting John Cena as the front man for this project, and you're like, it's not a character anybody knows to even care about. But I should have known. James Gunn does that. That's what he does.
That's true. That is what he excels at. That he'll take characters nobody really cares about, and then make interesting characters out of them. Like Polka Dot Man or whatever. Like nobody cared about Polka Dot Man.
Man, MCU really should have ate their crow faster and just let James Gunn or Taika Waititi or both of them do the Eternals. Like, give those two some crazy Jack Kirby stuff and just be like, you know what? This stuff's so bonkers. Just have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine what that movie would be like?
No, it'd be a total 180 from what it is.
Oh yeah,
Right.
It'd be so different. Paul points out that's because Peacemaker doesn't have a built-in toxic fan base. That's not a bad point.
Right. That's right.
which is kind of weird considering,
I mean, it doesn't really have a built-in fan base. It's Peacemaker,
and it's kind of about being toxic. Or
right.
living in a toxic environment and just being toxic, period. Toxic masculinity throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
Or the last one.
Wait, the title of sorry, I muted us for a second. The title of which one? This episode or last episode?
The one we just watched.
Something about dragon.
Yeah.
My heart, don't dragon my heart around or something.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
because the dad dons
Yeah.
the full dragon. Yeah.
There's some nice effects in this, I thought, when the dad was flying around. Oddly enough, the colors became super saturated on the shots up in the sky. You could tell it was an effect shot, but like it looked nice.
Mhm.
Right.
It just didn't look quite color corrected perfectly, but it was close. When he flew down and slammed into the side of the truck, that was pretty rad.
Mhm. Randy freaked out because nobody was wearing their seatbelts.
I was like, is nobody wearing a seatbelt? Nobody in that van was wearing a seatbelt.
Nope. Nobody.
Everybody's fine. And
Those 11th Street kids, their
I
devil may
forgot
care
about
attitude. It's always a good time to rock, except when the white dragon hits you in the side of your
I don't like all the
truck.
characters. I can't stand Diebeard.
Hate
him. He's the worst.
He's pretty awful, but yeah, like he's pretty entertaining as like a straight man foil that they just make fun of most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they tend to until they decide to make him just do an incredibly stupid thing or say something really stupid.
Yeah.
Like the whole like pulling Peacemaker's dad into the plot the way it did was because he's like, oh, I'll just switch it with blah blah blah. It's like, what? How did you get this job doing things that dumb? Why would you do that?
It set up that awesome like list of characters that Peacemaker's like just goes off on all the people that you could do, and then they do like they have those outtake scenes at the end of every episode, and he's just like listing off all these fictional characters.
Mm-hmm.
Those outtakes are fun. I'm curious about them. I like the ones with the guy that was on their side that was supposed to try to wrangle in the police.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Right. That was a good one. Yeah.
He had some interesting outtakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go watch it. Yeah. Go watch it if you don't mind. Like, it's definitely rated R content.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad guys are bad guys, and they say some I would be some pretty shocking stuff
Mhm.
for a modern audience. Like the Peacemaker's dad's he's like he's a Grand Dragon or White Dragon or whatever it is of like a skinhead group. So, and he says things that
Yeah.
they don't go as hardcore with him as they could, but they still go pretty hardcore with him. And it's surprising and a little shocking. So be prepared for that if you're going to watch it.
Even
Right.
the good guys sometimes say some pretty horrible things.
Yes.
Oh,
Honestly.
for sure.
Yes. They don't go super hard on the racism angle. They could.
They do a little, but not. Yeah.
They keep it pretty cartoonish.
Yeah.
They keep it ridiculous, which I think is
Right.
a fine way to deal with it because it's like, I don't know. It's not when people are being racist, it's to be mean, but like it's always the dumbest uses of it. So it's
Mhm.
like kind of highlights how stupid it can be sometimes,
Right.
or all the time. But whatever. It's there, but it's not as hardcore as it could be.
Right.
Well, Book of Boba Fett.
I was gonna say, how do you transition from that? Like,
Last episode we had there's all this talk of segues and
Yeah.
bumbling segues. We'll just throw the segue over the cliff. We don't need it.
just like a faux Mandalorian into a Sarlacc pit. We'll just throw it away.
Yep.
So
So what's the deal with that? Why does he have Mandalorian gear?
Well, because his dad was part Mandalorian. Like he was part of the guild, I believe.
Okay.
But that gets sticky too, like
Because it looked cool. I mean, the original reason is because it looked cool, right? Before
Right,
they injected all the extra lore that made it not really
the Beskar
work.
armor is just like a good armor to have.
Right.
I think that Django was a foundling at some point, but he kind of goes rogue. But it sounds like pretty much the whole planet of Mandalore went rogue, and you have different sects that are so all bizarre. So it's hard to say that Django and Boba Fett have any less claim than anybody else. But if you ask the wrong people, like, oh, you're barely a Mandalorian at all.
Right.
because the Mandalorian that we follow is like the conservative right wing.
He's kind of he's
really is.
kind of an extremist. He's like a
Exactly.
good dude, but he's kind of an extremist.
Yeah. No, never take your helmet off ever.
Ever. And if you do, you're dead to me.
Mhm.
Yep. Right.
There's only two of us. There could be three. No.
That was the thing. When that one episode where the ladies, like, have you ever asked them if they? It's like, why are you doing this now, lady? There's not
Yeah.
a whole lot of you.
Yeah.
Like,
Like waited
asking
until
them
I
out.
made a chainmail armor. You waited until I kind of sort of trained you with the dark saber. But now we're going to ask the hard questions and kick you out of the club.
Mhm.
It's kind of like how would that situation have gone if Mando had lost and lost the sword? Do you think
Well,
it was
that's-
because he
yeah.
didn't that she's like,
Oh.
all right,
Get
gotta
out of
call
here
it.
with your sword and your possible claim to the throne.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
if you've got different sects, wouldn't you want to keep the guy that has the Holy Grail in your club? Be like, you've got the cup that Christ drank out of. Well, you can hit the road, Jack. We don't want any of your Christ cup in our club.
Well, maybe it's because of Grogu. Because
Oh, hold on one second. Spoilers. I think we're gonna get into spoilers because there's not much we can talk about this last episode of Book of Boba Fett without just jumping into spoilers.
Yeah, everything
Okay.
that happens is just like, it's a fast-paced episode, so everything that happens is like, what?
okay, well, I wasn't really talking about that episode anyway. I was talking about the one before.
I know, but I think I knew where you're gonna go. I think.
Well, I was just gonna say, she was making the mail armor for Grogu, and he insisted on it, even though she was like, he's with his people, whatever, let it go. But he's like, he's a foundling. Well, bringing a Jedi into the mix or not letting it go might cause trouble for them. I'm assuming she figures, and she doesn't want that associated with them when they're so, so hurt already.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you were gonna go there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Melanie figured out the key to their whole prophecy thing,
Oh, I thought I did.
and it's probably Baby Yoda
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm.
he's spoilers. He decided to hang out with Mando. He shows up with the chainmail shirt.
Right.
Cutest thing. It just continues to be the cutest thing on TV that's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting in the cockpit. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He flies up to Mando when he finally sees him. And Mando has this crazy lightsaber. Baby Yoda has the Force. So I'm
Right.
thinking
And he's a foundling now.
he didn't have to choose. He's like, I'm gonna take this chainmail and go get a cool black lightsaber. Luke,
Right.
you
Right.
lame-o.
Right. Exactly. He knew what he was doing. There's this great meme that I just shared to Axton because he's a huge Star Wars guy, and it was that scene with Luke where Luke is going to make Grogu. You know, it's basically how the previous episode ended. Was you have to make the choice, right? And it took that line. I don't even remember. I think it was one of the prequel movies that's like, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Oh right, yeah.
It was like, choose one or the other. I was like, oh, well, nobody told Luke.
Right.
Come on, Obi-Wan. You did it again. And you too, Yoda. Come on.
Well, if they would stop murdering all his mentors, maybe, you know.
Well, Luke never, ever, ever, like, really listened to them. And we're like, if you
Yeah.
leave, I'm probably not going to be here when you get back. You shouldn't leave. You're not done.
Right.
I'm totally leaving.
Yep.
Your father's on that ship. You shouldn't go there. I'm going. I'm going now.
Mm-hmm.
So this episode, I've seen a couple memes out of this. At least one other meme out of this episode, and it's something that Melanie had commented on. But it's during like the big action in the town, city, whatever. People are fighting, and it's when two of the weird, out of place cyberpunk kids are carrying a hardcore Wookiee around, trying to carry him around.
Yeah.
And like they go to start shooting, and they like both do a spin and start shooting. And Melanie, when we were watching it, was even like, why did he do that? Like, why?
They had to
What was
do
the point of
was
that?
it the Han Solo pose
Yeah.
when they shoot? They had to do that, right?
And so there's a meme, a gif of specifically the dude like doing the spin out to shoot, and it's set to some music and stuff. But it's like, yeah, it didn't bother me, but it, just boom, boom,
Yeah.
go like that.
When
Why are you spinning around?
Chrysanthemum sometimes can't like stand, but sometimes dude can just haul off and book it,
Right.
and then he can't stand again.
Yeah,
And not only that, they put like his hands around them to help
Right.
him. That's not.
Yeah.
No, you gotta like stick your head up in his armpit to like hold him up. Otherwise, you're useless.
Yeah.
You know what's the point of standing there?
I enjoyed this episode overall, though. I thought it was pretty decent. Like the effects they put into a lot of these episodes, actually.
Right.
They channeled quite a bit into this. I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than like the end bit with what's it? I lost
The
the name of it.
Rancor, the Rancor,
Rancor
beast.
busts out. All
Yeah.
Godzilla, King Kong busting
That was
up the
pretty
city.
great. Yeah.
Like, wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see that going the way it did. I thought that like Boba Fett would be the one because of
Right.
the bond or whatever. You know, they imprint on the first person that they see. So
Yeah,
because
but
they got the blinders, and I thought that would come into play. Nope.
Where did he go at that point? Because
He was way off over elsewhere with the lizard guy.
Yeah, he basically got bucked off or something, right?
oh, right, and then he was fighting because like, yeah, he disappeared, and like, dude, your dog's destroying the city. What are you doing? Like, come get your animal. Like, the thing is going full King Kong, hanging off the tallest skyscraper.
Oh man, and that was straight up a King Kong reference, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
way
Oh,
that
yeah.
was hanging on to it, and it even almost it did the pose. You know, it was all about doing the pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a comment about the fight, the showdown. Where was that staff hidden? Did he have it up his butt? Because he didn't have it when he was walking around.
Right.
But he pulled it out all of a sudden from nowhere
Yeah.
to use on whatever his name is. I can't remember. I want to say Bane, but that's not right. But the lizardy bug guy.
Right.
Paul says this was the bang bang shoot 'em up episode everyone wanted. I like the season overall. Butch and Sundance defending Tatooine made me smile. Yeah, it's definitely got that going on.
Yeah. With the Cad Bane thing that Melanie was mentioning is like, I was kind of surprised because it's like he was, I mean, they built him up and he struck a menacing, visage, but ultimately it was one and done, like what all did he do other than really freak people out?
He killed the marshal for a moment.
For a whole moment. A whole moment, and I was just like, man, he's not dead. We saw him get hit once, and then at the end it was like, as soon as Boba Fett even said it, and I think I must have like looked away from the screen because I didn't even realize there was a still frame because I was like doing things as I was watching it too. So they must have showed somebody in the back to tank too. Okay, see,
They clearly showed who it was, and
okay,
I didn't recognize him off top because he shows up in one episode, but Melanie did. The doctor that Boba had taken, what's her name? His assassin friend.
Oh, Fennec Shan or whatever.
Yeah, had taken her to like make her partially as cyborg.
Oh right.
He was in there, and the marshal was in the tank. So
okay.
he's gonna be fine, and he's gonna have robot bits that you don't see very often.
It's gonna be the cyborg sheriff.
You should have kept your armor.
Yep.
Your armor.
I'm fine with that though, because that infers that like they have more plans for that character and he'll be back.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
I mean, like that would have been awful to lose him. I was surprised that we lost Cad Bane. I mean, big spoiler there, but I mean, when you make him up to be the biggest bad guy, that's likely to be how it ends.
I think end of the series, they're gonna make it rain.
How so?
On Tatooine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
They did keep hinting at that. Like even the character was the guy from Office Space was like, it's a fascinating story about how there's water in them thar hills. Mm-hmm. Used to be underwater, the whole planet.
Yep. Then the sandworms will become eels.
I don't know that I understand that reference. There's going to be new corn on
his
that.
name is Cobb Vanth, so he's corn on the cob now that he's in a back-to tank with the robot doctor.
Paul's got the puns in the chat.
That is dad joke territory.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, speaking of corn.
Oh my God, hey-o. Melanie's got the puns.
Zing. So, thank you for tuning in, Paul. We don't treat you well, but thank you.
It's really interesting. We don't treat you. It's interesting thinking about this season because you get Book of Boba Fett for like 4 or 5 episodes, and then it shifts and becomes the Mandalorian for 2 solid episodes,
right?
And then it just meshes them. And honestly, the end, I felt like we were following Baby Yoda and Mando more in the final third of this episode.
Well, we at the very end, isn't that where? Or I guess there was the after scene, but in the end, didn't it end following them out into space?
Right, it did. It ended on them before the post credits.
Yeah.
Were you saying something about that, Jesse, in the chat earlier, in our messages earlier about? Maybe I misread it.
I don't know. I mean, basically, what I think is like it's all in the same universe, and it kind of makes sense because the lines are all blurred, and if all these characters are here, I guess why not?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe they need Mando and Grogu to go off and start another spin-off on one of the other planets that they visit frequently. And then we'll have that for a season.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the once Baby Yoda showed up, I was like, oh okay, okay. So they're just going to continue. They're going to do another Mandalorian. Continuing on, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I feel like this thing is like I love these Star Wars properties, but they are going to get really difficult to track because the next show that they're going to put out is Obi-Wan. And so that's going to have to jump back in time to like if this is just after Return of the Jedi, then that is just after Revenge of the Sith.
right.
So it would be like the lead. It would be like a Rogue One type era. Not quite Rogue One because Rogue One's literally right before A New Hope. But like it's going to be like the lead up to Rogue One.
Well, as we were talking about, about it's fine, like the characters, whatever. I don't mind that. Like this was just kind of another season of like this current story that started with Mandalorian, and I'm fine with that. Obi-Wan does seem like it's going to be different, separate, like,
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's a prequel thing, basically.
Are you sure? Maybe it's going to go a completely different direction, and it's all going to be
Hayden
like
Christensen
the supernatural afterlife of the Jedi.
I'd be there for it, but give me some Liam Neeson. I want more
They
Qui-Gon.
They are all Force ghosts eventually. So, like,
Right.
What do they do when they're not, looking approvingly in the distance?
Yeah.
So,
Float
Where are
around,
all
like-
these books? So Paul says Obi-Wan should pick up where the Kenobi book left off. Him on Luke Watch.
it doesn't exist. There's no books on
All
Star
these
Wars.
dang books, man. If there are books, Luke Skywalker will destroy them. Have we learned nothing?
Oh yeah, the one book we know about, and he's like, "No, you keep it in that tree.
Yeah. No, don't you show books to a Skywalker.
Give me some of that green boob milk." I love how wrong that rubs so many people. That movie. Oh man. Okay, so Obi-Wan aside, what's the fine. So that's some Star Wars stuff.
Right.
I want some more Mandalorian story. When's this one going to continue?
Sure.
I'm assuming they'll do another season of Mandalorian. Is Boba Fett like as a series, as kind of a separate series, at least in title? Is it done?
I think so. I believe so. Because I feel like it's kind of resolved and they've kind of cleaned up Tatooine. And I imagine that they'll come back and visit because has there been a season where Mandalorian doesn't show up there?
He spends half of his time there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
Especially if he needs any work done on any kind of ship.
right.
Plus, we need to see conclusion of the new relationship that forms between the mayor, or not the mayor's assistant, and the lady that fixes ships, whatever her name is, because they are going to become a couple, I'm sure.
Yep, they had some
Right.
type of a rapport, some type of a banter.
Mhm.
And you're like, I shouldn't like her because she's kind of annoying, but like, she's got charm.
Yeah,
Do
I
enjoy
feel
her
exact
and her
same way.
droids.
She's
Yeah.
totally the kind of character I would hate, but I don't hate her. She's fine.
don't.
I kind of
Yeah.
I enjoy when she pops up.
Mhm.
I don't want the Book of whatever her name is series, but she's fine. She's a
Yeah.
good supporting character in Mando story or whatever.
But what about when they're together, when they become a couple?
Uh-huh.
He's so elegant and refined, and she's so
Such a good
Tatooine-ish.
talker.
It's
And
man,
when
always
they come
thinks it
together,
through.
it's going to be great.
it does kind of write itself.
I
It's
know.
already it's been done so many times. It's already a cliche thing. That's so good.
I know.
Okay, you need to talk to Disney. Get Disney on the phone.
So here's the pitch, Disney. It's a space opera. You know how Star Wars is a space opera? This is the soap opera of the space opera.
Yeah.
It writes itself. Start printing money.
Yep.
I'll take my bills in millions. So,
Sorry, Paul says the Book of Headtails and the Mechanic.
they do call him Headtails. So,
They
several
do,
characters
yeah.
call him Headtails. I'm like, finally, that's the Star Wars racism I've been waiting for. I hate those things so much.
Oh, man. That's the...
'Cause that's what it was. You
Yeah.
can't help the Headtails. That's not a design. That's not a personal choice. He was born with those.
That's true, yeah.
But I'm with him. I hate him.
See, I'm not a fan of the mods, you know, like I get it because they're basically like they're just cyborgs, but like the way that they're designed is so bizarre. Like, hey, let's give them Inspector Gadget coats.
The one chick is totally an 80s cyberpunk type character. The one guy, there's such a mesh of
Eras,
like definable, like you could point to it. That's this kind of genre in this era that she's very 80s. He's very, I don't know, I guess maybe in 90s. And none of it though feels like it's organic to the Star Wars universe.
and the 50s bikes.
The 50s bikes
Yeah.
are so bad.
Which are rainbow dollicked out.
Yeah.
Like the most colorful thing on a dirt
Ooh.
planet.
Are those, do you think, I don't know, man. They're so ugly that it makes me think that's like, that's showrunners or like Robert Rodriguez or a designer's like, I'm gonna design the bike of my dreams or whatever.
Yeah.
But since you mentioned the rainbow Daleks, like, or was Disney like, we need some more toys? Give us some flashy vehicles.
Yeah, and they
They're
can
like,
be different
okay.
colored, so yeah.
Here's this.
Yeah, let's make it sapphire blue. It'll be great. Make it look kind of like a Vespa, but it can fly.
Paul says my Star Wars doesn't have mod gangs. Jasper says I like the mod gang. I like the idea of them. It's fine, and it's fine that they don't totally look like. It's okay that they look somewhat out of place because they're teenagers essentially, right? They're like street teenagers.
Yeah,
teenagers always dress weird, and they have, weird. It doesn't look normal outfits, but like the specific styles they picked from for the characters seems so out of place.
Some of them look like anime characters, and it's like that feels off in this universe.
Right. But Paul, sorry.
I'm sorry. This has nothing to do with anything, but Robert Rodriguez, I knew the name, but I didn't know who he was, so I had to look up what movies he does, and there is Machete Kills in Space is going to be a movie, and I just wanted to share that with the world.
Is it still going to be a thing?
Danny Trejo. Okay. I bet it's set in the same universe. He's going to wind up as a Rancor trainer. Full circle. Yeah, baby, I'm there for it.
I was a little surprised we only got him for that one episode.
Yeah, I was really hoping that he would shed like a single tear as Boba Fett rides into battle.
Right. Paul says teenagers scare the living crap out of me. That's a song. That could be his issue.
Yeah.
I thought they looked like Power Rangers on the colored hover Vespas. That's what Jasper says.
You know what? That's what I was thinking about Peacemaker's dad. I'm like, he's a Power Rangers bad guy.
Oh yeah.
His design very much was.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch back. This is a few comments back. Paul had said this was Boba's find himself story. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough material to just find out that Boba can't be domesticated. He has to be a bounty hunter. And he says the only way Book of Boba continues is if he travels to the galaxy as muscle for hire. He can't be tied to. I think it's fine with him. Like, he's kind of set up his kingdom, really, because everyone else has got the mayor's dead. Everyone's dead. There's nobody else. Like he's the one person on that planet with any amount of power, I think, at this point. And also at the end, everybody's being so nice. And I know it's because, he saved us or he got rid of the spice, but it's like, also, his creature can kill us all easily. He could destroy our city if he decided to not, rein his creature in.
And he already killed everybody else that could oppose him, basically.
So, he's got his kingdom set up. But I will agree in that, and I especially think it's probably to the betterment of the series that it kind of derails off to, and let me follow Mando for a while, because I don't think they had much to do with it. His arc isn't super like complex.
Mhm.
It's pretty basic, and all we like, even at the beginning of the show, we get some flashback to kind of show a little bit of it, but it's basically not even his big character arc. It's just him settling into the life he's trying to make for himself.
Mhm.
It's kind of a good thing for him though that everyone else decided, we're going to go to war against him, because on his own, I don't know that he was going to earn a lot of people's respect as a crime boss, because he wasn't doing anything crime boss.
Right.
Like.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't trying to be one. And it's like, but that is the system that exists, man. Like, it's not going to change overnight, and people are going to resist that. Now, if everyone's dead, I guess.
Change overnight.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, that's how revolutions work.
Well, and that's again, I mean, I guess maybe they're probably not going to do it, but what I was saying, I see they make it rain, because unless they do something like that where they go like into some history lore and figure some stuff out to make a difference on the planet, I don't really see where else they can go with it, because they've already achieved what they wanted to, basically.
Yeah, they killed Max Rebo.
That
may
place
still
was
be
trashed,
dead,
right? That place was trashed.
I mean, they blew it up. Those guys were in there.
They're done.
Those
They're
people
gone.
are dead.
Blue Elephant. Paul says, I mean, I would love for Boba. I would love for Boba to rule a planet, but toxic fan base won't let that happen. Star Wars fans are a bunch of Ryans.
Yeah.
So says Paul. Get them,
They're
Star Wars fans.
Trying too hard.
Maybe
That was bad. Man.
Headtails and Mechanic Lady can have a daughter that has a tank, and then I can have Tank Girl again.
Yeah.
Tank Girl would fit in this universe in a way.
With the mods. Now that we have the mods, it's like, oh yeah, why not Tank Girl?
I mean, kangaroo people is kind of a given, I'm assuming. I'm surprised we don't see them more.
Yeah.
For real, yeah.
Also, I never
live on Tatooine. That's all. Is there an Australia planet? Got a New Zealand planet. That's clearly where where Jango Fett's from.
Okay. I was just thinking. No, I was just thinking about things, but I'm like, it's not worth. I didn't realize how disgusting of a creature that mayor creature was until I noticed when he talks, like gills or something on the side of his neck open up, and that's how he talks. You hear the before it like gets translated. I was like, ew, that's a disgusting slug monster with mouths on the side of its neck. I don't like it.
It's like a sideways lamprey.
Paul says modded Tank Girl. He's in that mod gang. He'll allow.
Mm-hmm.
I really dug the action. They did some fun, like, I don't know. It was like a shootout. I mean, like they clearly bought into a bunch of the Western tropes, and then they throw in like tanks, like the droids roll in, and I'm like, wow, these droids, like I feel like this sold droids as a menace so much better than any of the like regular Star Wars movies. It's just like, whoa, all of a sudden these battle droids are like T-800s or something. Like they're like Skynet tanks. I'm afraid that these 2 or 3 droids are gonna just ruin everything.
Yeah, this is set before the regular when is I'm not sure when this is set, actually, now that I think about it.
It's
so no, this is going to be after the original series or the original trilogy, right?
It's like in the middle, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, it's between Jedi and The Force Awakens, but like right after Jedi, because think of how old Luke is. Like Luke is hot off of the Moon of Endor thing.
Okay. Well, I was just, in some movies they have robots you can trip with a rope, and in this one they have like spiders. it seems like a big jump, and they should have already had these when they were going to war or
No,
something.
Star Wars is weird though because all the like the prequel movies,
Mm-hmm.
the chronologically first trilogy
Right.
are older, but that tech looks more advanced
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because CGI, but also like I know they like hand wave it away. Story reason is because like when the what was it the
Republic.
the rule changed and then like everybody got poor and then just stuff went to crap, so that's why everything looks junky in the older movies, which are technically set in the more modern time compared to whatever.
Right.
But so like you can't really judge it by that.
Yeah, well, I do.
Well, it stands to reason that like most of this really dangerous tech would have already been blown up in the Clone Wars or whatever. But a mob, like a mob family, they've got enough money to either have purchased whatever's left or to have someone rebuild it.
Yeah, and I suppose also like it is like owning like a high tech fancy tank and then going and fighting people on a scrap planet where it's like, no, all the scrap planet people, their tech looks like junk because it's made out of junk.
Right.
So it is going to be weird. I agree though; those bots were pretty cool, and man, good effects all around this episode.
Yeah.
They sunk some money into the series as a whole for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Disney does.
Was it the Manda Bros? They're flying around with their jetpacks. It's like, man, that's never not cool.
It was
jetpack bros forever.
It was cool. It was pretty cool. I could have wished they'd have done it a little more.
You're right.
Randy sitting there being like, "Use your elbow rocket" or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
You went full pro wrestling on it. You're like, no, give him the elbow drop. Oh yeah.
I was fascinated that and it makes sense though that Boba Fett has like a knee rocket thing that whenever he like ends up he's at, whatever at disadvantage, he could just shoot a knee thing, and they even do like a pose with that. Yeah, this is an episode of poses where he's got the leg up and he's shooting somebody with it. Weird, but it's kind of cool. I like it. Paul wants one more episode of just the Jawas going around cleaning up the planet. That actually,
yes,
for the most part, dialogueless episode, just Jawas.
Mm-hmm.
Talented, somebody talented could do it.
I want a Jawa wearing the Cad Bane hat. A Jawa stole that hat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna draw that. That's how badly I want to see it.
Yeah, I bet I would watch it probably. I bet other people would too if somebody like a fanboy made one, like a small,
a short,
of that.
Oh, I didn't notice Jasper made the point that this is set about 7 years after the last of the original movies.
Oh, okay.
Especially if they show a baby Jawa. I want to see a baby Jawa.
A baby Jawa.
Baby Jawas, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see a Tusken Raider without a mask.
Yeah, me too.
I think they're born with those masks on.
I think they're basically predators. Predator alien, yeah.
They got tired of people cussing them for being ugly mothers.
They don't have time to bleed either.
They just want to have them some fun.
Yeah.
This predator comes up and we just
sexual T-Rex like a rancor.
That's so good. Predator could be in Star Wars universe.
It really could, yeah.
Disney owns it.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
I think Disney does own Predator now, so make it happen.
Who's the? I'm sorry, I'm changing the subject a little bit, but who is in old cartoons? There's like a weird sidekick thing. It's like a ghost alien in a hat. What is that? It's like purple, maybe.
Orko?
Maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up.
From He-Man?
I don't. Oh yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that guy. That's kind of what I think a little baby Joe.
Sure.
Yeah.
You You still don't ever see their face. They're just small.
No.
They're just tiny, and they're just big eyes. Oh.
Dude, they knew what they were doing with the like, okay, we're gonna have aliens, but we need to start off subtle with that first movie, right? We're on Tatooine, right? We got some robots, but we need to ease into these aliens. Like, okay, aliens that sound like donkeys, but they have masks on. You never see their face.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's these little Jawa things where it's just they have hoods and glowing eyes, but you never see their face. Okay,
Right.
Blue elephant.
Blue elephant. Yes.
Then we go into the bar.
Hive ability.
That might be fully intentional, and it's kind of brilliant if it is. If to like make the bar scene just like blow a mind, where it's like the first couple aliens we see in the whole franchise, you know, masked, hooded. You don't see any alienness really,
Right.
and then they
You really
into
don't
that,
even on the ship. Like that
Right.
all is. I mean, like you've got Darth Vader and his and the stormtroopers in their helmets, but like nothing really truly alien. It's all like dressed up humanoids.
until then you go into the bar, and then it's like there's Wolfman and
Right.
a blue elephant. Is Wolfman did Wolfman get cut out of the George Lucas tomfoolery? Because one of those characters in there is just straight up a Wolfman looking guy.
Right,
It's like,
right.
What is that?
Right. It was just like random costumes they just had.
Yep.
It was just like, all right, well, I guess there's a Wolfman alien. Don't talk too much. Just scare him.
I'm surprised they didn't use just a bunch like Wolfman, Swamp Thing, whatever.
Jasper loved the Wookiee assassin.
Oh, that was the thing I was gonna say. So now they've got Kersantin, and they've got like this crew, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's like anytime they need this crew, they can just show up on Tatooine, or this crew could just like boom show up and save the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I like that or not, because it's like, well, it'd be kind of nice to just see Kersantin just show up somewhere. But is he just going to be gainfully employed for Boba now? It seems like.
Yeah, but Boba might lend him out now and then.
Yeah.
I was sad that the Warthog twins died.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. And they lasted, I for a second there was like, was it the Gamorrean guards that got put in the back to tank? But no.
Yeah.
No, they were all about killing all the original movies' weird aliens in this one, in a way.
Right.
I forgot about the blue elephant until you mentioned it last episode. You're like, no, blue elephant. I was like,
That blue elephant, they killed him. They killed him. They killed him, Gilbert.
Yep.
Okay, we need to move on.
Yeah.
I bet there's something amazing, though, before we go.
Sure.
What is it?
There's lots, but I'll share just one. Okay, so researchers from I can't pronounce this. Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute discovered an unusual property of a bacteria that can breathe in some metal and sulfur compounds and create materials that can improve electronics, energy storage, and medical devices. Specifically, the anaerobic Shewanella, I'm probably not pronouncing this right either, Oneidanenis bacterium can produce molybdenum disulfide, a material that can transfer electronics as well as graphene. One of the possible applications could be in developing a new generation of sensors to be used on lakes and other bodies of water to monitor the ecosystem. What's unusual about that thing that it's hard to pronounce, the bacteria, is that it can create nanowires for transferring electrons and lends itself to connecting the electron devices that have already connecting to electron devices that have already been made. One of the researchers named Sawyer, went so far as to say it is the interface between the living world and the man-made world, and that is fascinating.
So they're mods.
Yes, we just found cyborg bacteria.
They breathe metal and they belch wires.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, first off, they breathe metal,
And sulfur.
and they're gonna use
It's like
their
Hellspawn.
their wastes, their leavings
Yep.
for wires. That's weird and gross.
My favorite way to get kids to brush their teeth, I'm sorry. This says that I'm sorry. Is I'm like, you know what? Sugar is not bad for you. You know what's bad for you? The bacteria in your mouth when they go potty. When you eat sugar, they get diarrhea all over your mouth, and that's why your teeth go bad. So you better brush that diarrhea off your teeth, and they're all like, ugh! And then they brush a lot. So it's a good way to do it.
It's kind of hard to argue with brushing your teeth after that.
Yep.
So Paul mentioned something that, yeah, we're not doing news this episode, but I gotta mention it. Futurama is returning. He questions. It is. Again, it's been on canceled again. Hulu Futurama is going to come back with new episodes. I think they said like 20 episodes for Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to find information and I can't find any relevant information. Last I knew, John DiMaggio, Bender, not coming back.
Oh,
And I say it's not Futurama.
A lot of people say it's not Futurama if you don't have him in it.
Really, I kind of felt like it wasn't Futurama the last time it came back because none of the writers were there. And part of why it was so great is because they had the writers they did. They were smart. They were like doctors and scientists writing the show. So it was all very connected to like none of the, I don't think any of the original show wasn't thought out before anything happened. They didn't have any contradicting happenings, you know? And they had a lot of little weird secret stuff that I'm not smart enough to figure out even. Like the language that they wrote in was an actual language they created, but people deciphered it, so then they made another one up, you know, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. The original writers are hardcore math nerds, science nerds, and sci-fi nerds.
Right.
So they're all about putting that stuff in there. And I'm that's not to say that the team that they had working on it last wasn't, but it did feel different to me.
I don't think they were. They were maybe funny, but
Paul says Bender wants more money. That's kind of what I think. First off, of course he does.
who doesn't?
It's Bender.
Yeah. Yeah. That stands to reason.
That tracks. But what?
He's got to be like the top voice actor next to like maybe Mark Hamill.
He was in everything for a long time.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
All the games he was in. Like I'd be playing. Which one was it? One of the Batman, probably a couple of them, but one of the Batman Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you run around the city and you're beating up people, and you're like, "What? That's Bender." Like, why is there what's going on?
Well, he was the Joker in one of the Batman animated series, I think, wasn't he? Wasn't he the Joker for The Brave and the Bold or whatever? Or
Sure.
no, maybe it was just the Batman, that little thing.
Right.
And while he was doing that, he was like the main character on 3 different cartoons, you know?
Right.
So he's worth it.
Yeah, they couldn't whatever, contract negotiations broke down.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's smartly letting the fans get upset about it.
Oh yeah.
And because that's potentially fuels like
He knows.
maybe changing Hulu or Warner Brothers or whoever's mind that's
Right.
going to be producing this thing.
Yeah, it's in pre-production. They can.
Fox.
This is when they'll change their minds.
Yeah.
You could get rid of almost every other character, I think, and people might be upset, but they wouldn't be like rioting about it. But Bender,
Why not Zoidberg?
yeah, so right, yeah,
You can't get rid of Zoidberg.
you can't get rid of Fry, you can't get rid of Leela, and you can't get rid of Bender.
Basically,
other than that, everybody's fair
You
game.
get rid of Amy or whatever the one chick is.
Yeah, that's Amy.
You get rid of her. She's
Right.
fine.
You can
but
get rid of I can't remember his
she's
name,
got no
even, the
hook.
Limbo guy. You could get rid of him too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. Like they're okay characters, but
Mm.
they're not like A team.
And even Farnsworth, he you know, he's kind of fun sometimes.
Great news, everybody.
Right, but it would even make sense for him not to be there because he's old. So, you know, like I said, anybody of those 3, in my opinion,
Well, they
they
got
could do with that. But
they got everybody but
DiMaggio,
DiMaggio.
Yeah.
So
and his name's DiMaggio.
And Paul points out that pretty sure that Disney owns it now, so eventually they can throw Disney money at it. So
Oh well, then yeah, if they can throw Disney money at it, then Get Joe DiMaggio. Jeez.
CGI DiMaggio voice. Wait, that's
Oh,
not
no.
that's not
Oh,
computer
no.
generated.
Whether they make him sound like an actual robot, that would actually be kind of funny for a whole episode.
But honestly, I mean, they have so many years of his voice on, file or whatever. They probably could train an AI to do it.
I mean, they could just write their lines around stuff they've got recorded, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's probably a lawsuit there.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I don't think they could do that. It'd have to be.
Ooh, I feel like all the voice actors in the universe would probably come together and make sure that never happened again.
Yeah,
and rightly so.
Right. For the most part, right. Yeah, because you should be using people's likenesses and stuff, whatever, in the voices. Same deal. But also when they do work, a lot of times it's with the understanding that like this work is going to be used for this.
Right.
And if you're going to take these exact things, whatever this recording or whatever, and use it for another thing that you're going to make money off of, I better be making money off that too, or whatever.
What do you mean you can't just take somebody and flip him upside down and put a mask on him and act like he's the same character?
What's that from?
That's from Back to the Future 2.
Oh, right. Well, it's also, speaking of Arrested Development, like an hour ago, that last season, Netflix had done that weird thing where they filmed the last season, released the episodes, and then they did like the remix where they basically, because if I remember right, the last season was kind of weird anyway because they didn't have everybody together at the same time.
Right.
So chronologically it was weird anyway, and they did a remix where they basically recut all the episodes into like different order and released it as another kind of like, I don't know, whatever. And there was a kerfluffle. A bunch of the actors and I'm sure their agents were very upset because that is basically the work they had done for this one season being reused for like they viewed as a new product or another season of the show, more episodes, and apparently they're paid per episode. So
So if they make a director's cut of a movie, do the actors get any more money for that?
I don't think so. Or they have that. I don't think so, because I don't know why. Because maybe it's a difference between TV and movies.
And probably the contracts they have, because
Right.
I would imagine they aren't going to be willing to give them rights to, or a cut of the forever monies that they get. It's probably like box office stuff and then a flat salary or something like that, but I could be wrong.
And different cuts might be different than like, we're gonna recut this and release it as a sequel or something, which
Right.
There's some low budget stuff that does stuff similar to that. Like, what's that movie? That one movie where the Garbage Day meme comes from. Most of that movie is just recut footage of the first movie. It's Garbage Day. You got to know what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about.
I know you do, because you live with me.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to go, guys.
Yeah.
We need to go, Gert.
Go-gurt, yes. On the go. Yogurt.
Hey, here soon, maybe not tomorrow. I might wait till next week because I wanted to promote it a little bit more beforehand. But I've been working on a music video for Super Science for one of my songs, Mystery Core. And
it's cool.
You can hear the song. It came out. It's from the album that I released around Halloween time, Candy Sack. And we're started working on a music video for it July or June of last year, and it was supposed to be a quick little experiment just to whip this thing out. That was a mistake. It took so long. There was a couple months I worked on it every day, but yeah, that'll be coming out I think next week. I don't want to put it out on Valentine's Day. I'm not ready to release it tomorrow, so Tuesday or Wednesday. And I have a YouTube channel, official artist channel on YouTube for Super Science, so you can go there. I don't have a good link for you, but go to superscience.xyz, and there will be a link somewhere on there. Yes, XYZ is weird. I know. It sounded sciencey, and I'm like, makes sense. Let's do it.
Super sciencey.
I was all excited about it. Then I told a couple of people, and they're like, "What? XYZ?" I'm like, "God dang it!"
You're right.
But if you like a Dracula and you like a Frankenstein, and you're curious about AI style transfer and rotoscoping, you don't have to be curious about rotoscoping, but there's a lot of rotoscoping. You should check it out. It's basically animated. So, Jesse, you got anything exciting coming up?
Not yet. No. Maybe something soon down the road, but not at the moment.
Okay.
There's a show coming up that we would have normally done, but we're just not ready to go back to shows yet. I think this pandemic's winding down. I think we're getting closer to the if not now when phase of the pandemic, but right now I don't feel like it's time to go back to shows yet. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Melanie,
Yes.
what you got coming up? You got anything that you're excited about?
No.
The
Nothing.
weekend. I don't know.
Weekends don't mean anything here anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
When you set your own hours, but are also kind of dictated by workflow hours, like there's no time has
such
no
thing as
meaning.
weekend. Right? Yeah.
I made the mistake of taking it was like midnight last night. Like, let's take a nap. And because Melanie's Melanie, she was like, okay. And I was like, really? Okay. Well then, yeah, let's take a nap. And I woke up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that was a mistake. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm just gonna be up even later in the morning, and then want to sleep part of the day away. It's probably why I'm off my game today. And then Melanie, she's fine.
Yep.
You just like go to sleep for 3 hours, 4 hours randomly, and then just do that once in a while, and she's okay.
I think that's how like our bodies are more intended to work, is to have more small sleep cycles, but
Yep.
we don't care. We don't care about what's healthy for us as humans.
I don't like it. I don't like naps at all in general, because I wake up and I'm like, this doesn't seem like the same day anymore, and I don't like it. I'm thrown off now.
Right.
Sorry, you're unnatural.
I am unnatural.
All right.
Speaking of time, we need to get off of here. It's late.
It's unnatural that we're still going, so we can talk about sleep.
Paul says we need mods to regulate us.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
I'm fine with that. Why not?
I'm down for my robot body.
Let's do it.
Where's it at? All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody.
They are watching. Everybody.
Thanks for watching. Future podcast listeners, thank you. You want to hear more, go to grawlixpodcast.com. It's GRAWLIX podcast.com. Cheers. Best wishes.
Cheers. Where everybody knows your name.
Where